What a career you've had. It's absolutely amazing. And what you're doing now, I feel like you're like really sinking your teeth into this. Where did this conversation even begin for what you're doing now in NXT?
Well, I guess it depends on how far you want to go back. I'll say this. And again, to be perfectly honest, way back in 1998, obviously, when I left wrestling and thought I was kind of done, my wife and I talked about, again, and I had the Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy, which I started. And of course, I can remember not long after that, obviously my life changing a great deal, all for the positive, and begin thinking about, the giving back process of all of that and being able to maybe one day have this facility. Anyway, so you fast forward all these years later and it's not the way that I thought it would go, but sure enough, it ends up here I am again in this, wrestling environment, and is in a way obviously giving back and and giving back in the thing that that at least comes natural to me. So that's part of it. That's, I guess, more of the spiritual side. But honestly, I can remember when Hunter talked about NXT and, just asking me to come by one time. And, I had been to a couple events while I was retired, but I was in Texas at the time and, again, thought it was fantastic. We went on a vacation to Florida, taking the family out there, and they just happened to, be doing a television show, and Hunter was in town, and then and wanted me to come down and see the Performance Center and be just come in and see what I think. And when I walked through those doors, that feeling just sort of came back. And because I sort of, again, when I retired, I just exited and wasn't around that environment anymore. So when I came back in, it was just something that clearly was noticeable, because when I went back to, again, the home we were renting, and just, again, we rented a house for the week to go on vacation and stuff. And I came back and my wife said, obviously it went well. And I said, yeah, I know it did. What do you mean? And she said, I can just see the look. And so we just got into this big conversation about, again, that conversation that I told you about in and again, by that time it was 1999 when she and I had first met and talking about that stuff. But, and that's kind of the first time she revealed to me in all of my retirement, she said that, well, I was surprised that you walked away when you did and how you just completely left it. She said, I always figured you'd go back and you'd do something with them, but when you said you were done, you were actually really done, and nobody was more surprised than I was. And so we just, again, had a very, awesome conversation. My wife and I are, we've lived our whole lives like that. So our relationship started doing things that we both feel and, have this unbelievable impulse and what we call it, it's a calling in our lives. And, in a matter of probably 3 hours in this conversation, we had made the decision to go back to Texas, pack up in 3 weeks, and move our entire lives to Florida. Wow. And that's what we did.
And you've been there almost 10 years now, right?
Yes, and I've been there almost a decade now, yeah.